It's time for Pieces of the Past. Let's head over to Dawnstar and see if we can find Mehrunes Razor. Once you reach level 20, you'll receive a pamphlet directing you to a new museum in Dawnstar. You can head over to the museum early and check it out, but you won't be able to start the quest until you're level 20. Once you approach the museum, you'll find the curator Silus arguing with a court wizard. Silus will be the main NPC of this quest, progressing it forward, and you can talk to him right away. He's all too eager to talk about lore and his family's history, and if you're interested in that, go ahead and give it a listen and ask him about it. But otherwise, just let him know you want to see the museum, and he'll invite you inside. Once inside the museum, Silas will explain to us that he needs help reconstructing the Mehrunes Razor. He needs three different parts: the pommel, the blade, and the hilt, and he tasks us with going to retrieve them. This also changes the quest to a proper quest instead of a miscellaneous one. Let's get out there. First off, we're starting easy. We're going to head over to Morthal and confront Jorgen. He can be found working at the mill over near his house. When we go talk to Jorgen, there will be dialogue options where we can either intimidate, persuade, or try to bribe him. There's a different roll on every attempt, so you can just go through with persuasion, then the bribe, and if those don't work, go for the intimidation. You'll start a brawl with him, and it's pretty simple as he has no armor. Once Jorgen's knocked down, talk to him, and he'll give you a key to his house and his chest. He'll give you the key if you pass either of the other speech checks, and his house is right there, next to the mill. Once inside the house, we can then take the hilt from his chest. You can also just lockpick to get in here, and it's interesting to note, all the other loot in the chest won't be marked as stolen, but everything else in his house will. Up next is Cracked Tusk Keep. This is a small bandit camp just outside Falkreath, so if you need a fast travel point, Falkreath it is. The camp is entirely made up of orcs, and you'll see some listed as orc hunters. These are just bandits that are guaranteed to have bows. On the outside, there should be 4 of them to take care of. Once you take care of them, there will be a couple of goodies on the outside, such as pelts, weapons, and skill books that you can take a look at. But we're focused on getting the blade today. The interior of the camp actually does have a couple different entrances, but we're just going to brute force it and go right through the front door. Once inside, there will be a little bit of opposition. There will be 2 orcs in the first room immediately. And we can follow the quest marker to find the leader of the camp. Once you kill Ghunzul, you can steal a key off of his body to go further into the keep. He's also got lots of goodies inside his room, and there's lots of treasure all throughout the keep. I mainly just want to focus on completing the quest, but be sure to take some time and look for some nice goodies. It should also be noted, there's going to be multiple quest markers, because the quest will update to get the rest of the pieces, and to turn them into Silus. Moving down through the keep, however, we find a cage, which we unlock with the key. Press the button. Here's one of the doors that leads in from the outside, so you can sneak in if you want. Inside the vaults, there will be a lot of stray goodies everywhere. and there will be a couple of cells. If you want any of the loot inside these cells, just press the buttons to the right of each door. Moving along to the main prize though, we'll find 2 levers that retract the spears in our path. There will be 3 tripwires in this room. If you stop after each tripwire, or just activate them before moving forward, the poison darts won't hit you. There's also a swinging cage trap to the left, but we don't have to worry about that. The actual blade fragments will activate a trap when you pick them up, so be sure to back up quickly after you grab them. Now we have 2 pieces. On to the third. Have you had an easy time navigating? That's about to change. We're going to head to Hag Rock Reboubt, which is just south of Markarth, which will lead to Dead Crone Rock, which will lead to the last piece, the Pommel. Hag Rock is pretty large and can be kind of confusing for navigation with a bunch of different paths, but when in doubt, just keep going up. The quest marker can also get wonky sometimes because it wants you to go back to Silus and it wants you to move forward and it only puts one quest marker with so many different paths, but when in doubt, just travel up. We're going to take a little bit of an easier route here. Heading left before we go through the main archway, we can actually avoid a lot of the Forsworn in this area. There's also a bunch of mages, Briarhearts, even a troll here, so unless you really want to fight, just sneak your way left. Even then, we're not undetected. If you do aggro anyone else, and they're a decent ways away from any doors or progression, you can just kind of back off and forget about them. They'll de-aggro when you go inside. Once inside this left path, we'll find 2 Forsworn sitting down for dinner. Much like the orc camp, there are a lot of goodies around here, so I do encourage people to go around and explore after they've cleared enemies or while they're clearing enemies, because there's going to be a lot that I'm not covering here. After clearing one more Forsworn above the 2 below, we continue up higher until we find a Briarheart. The Briarheart will usually be doing alchemy, so you can take advantage of it and jump on him for some early hits before he can get attacks on you. Inside the room, there will also be a big chest and a bunch more goodies. Let's keep going up though. Once outside, you'll usually aggro almost immediately. There's that Briarheart and that troll I was talking about. You also kind of have to be careful, because some Forsworn down below, if they're still alive, will shoot some arrows up at you. There is a big boulder trap in the middle of this staircase that you can use to try to take out any strong enemies, and there's lots of places to sneak around. Even though this area can be kind of big and confusing and have lots of strong enemies, you can usually hide pretty well and heal up if you need to. You can also take advantage of the fact that the AI in this game don't do a great job with verticality, and if you really need to, you can just kind of sneak as you get higher and higher, and they'll usually lose track of you pretty easily. Before continuing forward, I'm going to try to lose these guys down below. Now it's time for Dead Crone Rock. From here on out, it's pretty straightforward. There will be a Forsworn inside a room with a couple of potions in it that you might want to grab before the upcoming fight. Moving up some stairs, there will be another Forsworn, as well as a mage, who can be pretty annoying at higher levels. Once the enemies are dealt with, you're good to go into the room with the enchanter's table. Be careful because there's a soul gem trap that spews some fire. Just grab the gem and it'll disable. And in the next hallway, be mindful of a panel that spews fire. It's pretty dark and hard to see, but it's only one panel, so you can jump over it easily. Once you do that, you'll find a small room with some loot and a skill book, and a lever that helps you progress. Be sure to jump over that panel. With the gate now open, we're able to head up outside and proceed to the final fight. We're going to be fighting a hag raven named Drascua. There will be 3 soul gem traps that you can grab and disarm, but you should really focus on getting right onto Drascua because she tosses out some pretty sinister spells. The 3 gems only spew fire in a fixed direction, so they probably won't be too problematic, but you can grab them to disarm them. Once the fight's over, head on over to the word wall and get the word for the Shout of Fear. After the word wall is done, let's head over to Drascua and take the Pommel. Besides loads of loot down below, there's a stone of Baron Zaya up on her altar, as well as a boss chest. Let's head back to Silus. Once back in the museum, we're good to hand in the parts to Silus. If you want, you can turn in the parts earlier on their own, and the quest will progress all the same. He does give a pretty big amount of gold per part, and once you do all 3, he'll mention that he wants to reconstruct the dagger with a 4th part that he has in the museum. Let's go do it. Silus will run ahead and we'll have to meet him at the shrine to Mehrunes Dagon. Once there, he'll talk about starting the process of repairing the dagger, and it's time to just kind of sit back and watch. Silus will ultimately fail at reconstructing the dagger, and he decides that you might as well take a crack at it. We then get to our favorite part of the entire game of Skyrim, unskippable dialogue. Dagon will basically praise us and make us an offer. He'll repair the dagger if we kill Silus for him. This is actually one of those Daedric quests that you can not finish correctly, and by that I mean you don't have to reconstruct the dagger. Silus will beg for his life and say he can go put the dagger in the museum, and he'll give you a whole bunch of gold. It's like 500 gold. Just kill him. If you want the Oblivion Walker achievement, you have to go ahead and kill him and take the dagger. Just be sure you tell him that you're going to kill him so you don't fail the quest, and it doesn't get buggy if you try to kill him as he runs away. Silus is a pretty powerful mage with offense, but he doesn't have much armor and dies easily. More unskippable dialogue. No matter what you tell Dagon, he'll go ahead and repair the dagger for us.
Place
and
your
we simply
hands on
interact
my
with it to
altar
repair
one
it.
last time, and you will witness the power of Mehrunes Dagon for yourself. Before you
Once you
go
take the
mortal,
dagger, the quest is
face a
complete.
challenge.
You're able to run away before these two Dremora that Dagon spawns attack, and you can try to hide from them and sneak away, but we're gonna go ahead and kill them. On both of their bodies, they'll have a key to the shrine. Inside the shrine, it'll be pretty tight, and there's two more Dremora, one a melee, and one a mage. Once they're taken care of, feel free to look around this cramped little room for a lot of goodies. Enchanted gear, skill books, soul gems, a couple of chests, and a lot of gold and ebony ingots. Once you're done looking through the loot, you can head back outside. Mehrunes Razor itself is a pretty powerful Daedric artifact. It's a dagger that has a 1% chance to kill anyone that it strikes, and it doesn't take soul gem charge, and attacks incredibly quickly. Pretty awesome. With that, Pieces of the Past is complete.